the valley of dry bones. The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. Remember, very dry. And he asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? This is a question actually. I said, Sovereign Lord, you alone know. Is that a question to ask? Or like, I don't know, Lord. It's a kind of saying, yes, you only know. And then verse 4. Then he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skins. I will put breath in you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Wow. Are you ready? How it's going to unfold? I'm actually so excited to bring the word. And verse 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me again, this is again, okay? And prophesy to the breath, prophesy, Son of Man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come, breath, from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded, and breath entered them. If you want to actually taking notes or you want to underline something from this, I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. Why he prophesied? As he was commanded to prophesy. It is not like, his own decision. Okay, like imagine you and me in that valley of dry bones. First of all, that's so scary. I don't know how you actually imagine these things, but I want to know, I want to let you know that I will be super scared. I do not want to be there. I don't want to be near that. That experience itself is so scary. But you want to know something? As much as I say that, this is the truth. Every day, one way or the other, one place or the other place, or one aspect of my life or the other aspect of my life is total dry. It's not everyday thing. Last year it was dry. Last week it was dry. Last month it was dry. But still it is dry. Yes, we are so uncomfortable to know that we are in the midst of those dry bones. Yes, as I said, it's to say that it's so fancy word to use, no, I will be so scared. But you and I are in those dry moments, total dryness. There are keywords in this passage. Very dry is what? There is no hope at all. What would you even expect from the dry bones actually? What would you expect from anything that's already dead? I just always live my life on this one theory. As long as you breathe, God is going to do anything. And do not just lose hope. Don't give up. But what? In this case, this is total dry. Are you barren for so long? You have kids, 100%, I agree that. But are you barren in your finances? In the relationship? Are you longing for love? What is that? That dry area, you only know. And if you tell him, he will actually come and bring his life. So let us see how this even happened. See, there are actually dry bones. That's a valley. valley of dry bones. It's not like one bone, two bones, and like three bones. It is just valley. Valley is what? All you and I know is valley, like with the water, full of water. But this valley is with like dry bones. So dry bones, very dry. But this is the beauty. The hand of the Lord was on him. If I had to place my hand on you, can I place it now? No, I cannot. Though it is like, so like technology, like, we're very much advanced in technology, but still like, I have my own constraints, that, and you have your own constraints. We cannot just like, reach unto each other physically. But if I'm actually in that vicinity, I can just place my hand on you. I can reach unto you. So what I want to say to you now is, it is better to be present in his presence. Be available. Be in that like, distance. This is totally distance sensitive, where you and I should be reachable. If you cannot just like, if God cannot reach unto you, you're so busy. You're not like, even looking unto anyone, looking unto the situations. The hand of the Lord was on this prophet. And then he says, it was full of bones and then dry bones. And then he asked me, yes, of course, there is a question for you as well. Do you think you're going to come out of this? Do you think your life will be transformed? Do you think your relationship will be restored? Do you think your child would speak again? Do you think your partner will actually come to your house again? Or do you think that is actually possible to restore your life? Do you think you lost your dignity and like you are totally in that like season of facing shame every day? Do you think can I restore that? This is the question for you as well and for me as well. This is direct question. And then yes, you know that, Lord, because you also should know. What are we doing with the word of God that he has just blessed us with? How many times he's trying his best to reach unto you, but you and I are never available for some reason. We are so busy. We're so caught up in this busy world and busyness. But you know what? This is not the word is saying. And then he says, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Wow. Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. So it says now, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Okay. What you and I should do. I already just like addressed how many dry areas of my life are waiting for me to say something, speak life unto them. And like, they've been waiting, but I'm not available because I don't know what to speak. Why? Because I'm not well versed with what God says about me or anything that is actually in the word of God. And I don't know my identity. I forgot. That was like a thing of the past. And then I don't know what to do now. But here, this prophet was actually getting every instruction and he is listening and he is executing. And your job and my job is today to listen first and then speak. And do not look at like, how dry are they? How like, and in those bones are scattered everywhere. There is no order whatsoever. You and I cannot expect this order even when you are scattered. And like, this is what it is. Restoration is possible for sure. But there is an order. Order is needed. You're all over the place, scattered. I don't know what are you actually reaching unto? Are you reaching unto the people, first of all? And are you getting disappointed every time? That's not a surprise. Do not be shocked and do not make another phone call wasting. Do you know? There is another call and there is another call because people will disappoint us. Because how come they themselves are broken? And how can you expect them to build your life? And do you know what God says about you? When was the last time you and I hear what he was saying? about me, about my scattered situation and my dryness, my dry bones, my dry problems, and my, lack and my everything, my sickness, my family sickness, or, my family's problems, whatever it is. What is it to you? I don't know. But did you hear him speak anything? Did you hear any updates even? Because there is an instruction, an order, one by one. It's not like, he just like, okay, Lord, okay. Did you see the dry bones? And then you will see the vast army. That's not the instruction. That's not how the process just even happened in that case. And you and I are so rushing to see the life, to see the vast army working for us. Well, why don't you understand? There is an order. God is actually asking you. You cannot just live a scattered life and expect restoration. You have to bring order back into your life. Put things where they belong. Can you do that? Put everything that's just where they belong. There should be an order. For you to go to church, for you to attend every Sunday, keeping that day as holy for Him, that is actually placing that order. For us to do family prayers, for us to do actually build your life first. Work on the version that God actually has created you to be. Work on that. This is a high demand placed on your life and on my life. We cannot just play with our lives as if it's ours. In Corinthians, God says, you are my temple. Do not just play with your body, play with your time, play with anything. Because your purpose and my purpose in life is to fulfill the purpose God just created us for. Yeah, because you know what? God would not just build anything when it is in disorder. Do not expect God to restore your life when you yourself actually not just following an order. You need to bring yourself where you should bring. First of all, I told you so many times, this is my favorite thing. Let me just try to unfold 4 pillars of our life, even this week's chapters now. First, start praying. Start your day with prayer. Read the word, because you spoke to him. Let him speak to you. Wait for him to speak to you. And then, you know what? This is what it is. Align your priorities. Align your life. What you want to do with your life now. What you want to actually act on it. You know what? You and I know where we are not happy. We know from tomorrow onwards, I'll start my prayer. From next week onwards, I'll start my fasting prayer. From other week, this is what actually, it's a cycle. But can you just break that cycle? And believe God to do something supernatural in your life, because He's willing to restore your life. But the bones are scattered everywhere. And you and I are scattered everywhere. And there is nothing. He wants to do something, but there is no order. Align yourself. After that order, the bones are actually coming together. And then what? He was watching the tendons, and actually the structure is getting formed. It's a scary thing. Did you actually give up once you just place yourself in an order, align yourself in that order, and then when it is forming, when it is actually forming that structure, did you give up? I don't know where you're at, because my life has still so many dry places to be dealt with. Before the word speaks to you, the word speaks to me. It is for me. As much as it is for everyone, it is for me first. Yeah, and then after the order was established, what happened? The next thing happened. What is that? The Bible says, oh, wow. There is a connection, there is a structure, and then what? There is covering. The flesh started coming upon the structure. Let there be covering. And then what? Let me just read this. Yeah, okay. And then what? Structure, first scattered, and then there is an order, and then what? Structure, and then the flesh is also formed. It looks beautiful. Are you happy with that? Yes, I can see the structure, but you and I know how dead we are inside. How dead we are inside. This is the time to realize there is no life. There is a structure as well. There is a covering as well. But there is no life. Without life, what are you going to do? What I'm going to do, tell me. Something can look right, but it doesn't just serve the purpose. It looks beautiful. It doesn't serve the purpose. You can't do anything with that structure, or you cannot do anything that's already formed, because without life, you cannot just move. You can't just do anything. Yeah, you can have a great idea, a great relationship, or a great structure, but still there is no movement at all, because structure is not life at all. Structure is not life. Let me repeat it. You must be thinking, yes, my family. You know what? I want to tell you something. Your family picture, the photo looks so great, flawless. That's even so beautifully decorated in this beautiful frame. But you and I know whether there is life or not. Where are you at? Do you think structure has life? Yes, structure is there, but there is no life. There is no life. What's the whole point of even having and holding on to the structure when there is no life? Who is life? I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus. Jesus is life. So, again going back to the Creator God, the Savior, Jesus. Without Jesus, there is no life. There is no truth. Why are you actually building your life on the most beautiful lies? You actually want to dress those lies because you want to build that structure so beautifully. How many households, how much of your life looks like, yes, I have everything. But do you? Question yourself. Question yourself. Question yourself. The structure doesn't have life. This is what many people miss it. When God begins to restore your life, you must learn how to cover your life. You need to know. Cover your every vulnerable place. You need to cover it. Because you know where you're falling. You know where you're getting tempted. You know what is your fall like. You know what? You need to just make sure you just lock it, seal it, cover it. Do not again and again expose to the same thing, same issue, same temptation, same weakness. Yes, who has the perfect life, first of all, tell me? Does that even exist? No, no one has it. If someone is saying I have perfect life, if it is an offensive thing, don't laugh, but LOL, don't laugh out loud, but at least that's what it is. Who has the perfect life? But why are you actually striving to show yourself as a perfect person? Yeah? So you have the order. Can you just try that order with prayer and reading the word? And then what? But still there's no life. What to do? So there is more to do. Keep on reading the word. Do not just take the word, easy, casual. No, you need to work on it. You need to actually hold on to the promise, cling on to that. Because this is this prophet didn't say just once and then stopped saying that. Again is that another keyword. Oh, there is no life. Yo, yes, I know that. You know what? I commanded you to do. First, speak to all the bones, and you watched it. But now, the second phase to bring the life. I was commanded to prophesy again. I was commanded to prophesy again. So, what is the key word here? Prophesying. Prophesying means what? Do you need a prophet to prophesy? No. The same person, you and I, can speak, curse our lives like crazy. Can you just change the tone? Speak the good report. Speak something good about yourself. And if you do not know anything, what to speak and what not to speak, open the word and see what is this living word is saying about you. And speak those words. As we sang, let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich. Yes, okay. What it says, it is total, a contradictory word that we are uttering with our mouth. And then, if you're sick, what to say? By his stripes, I've been already healed. Yes, it looks like a foolish thing to do, but that's what the word says. And word says, you are blessed. I will meet your needs according to the riches in his glory. Oh, wow. So what is your problem and what is my problem? Can't we just speak the word? Prophesy, prophesy, prophesy. Say it and see it. Say it and see it. There is no other way that you can win this life. You need to speak to your own situation. Do not wait for any preacher to come and just tell you what to do. But you know exactly. Yes, last year I have seen this, and this year again I'm facing this problem. Last week problem, still it is there. And the same job issue, same relationship issue, same problem. Oh, everything is same. My life is stagnated, and this is total dryness. It's not changing. So it's not moving forward. And are you stuck in your relationships even? This is the time for you to take action. Ask God, Lord, would you just restore my life? Restore my life. And do not just scatter yourself, but close all the vulnerable ends and then come back to him and then ask him, okay, Lord, now what to do? Last week, actually, I was in prayer. I was telling someone yesterday, and then I was I don't know what to do. And then I asked God, just for fun, actually, in fact. I just asked God, Lord, what do you want me to do? The situation looks little weird and little funny. And then what do you want me to do? And he said, from Joel, first chapter, you know what? Wear the sackcloth and then put the ash on and then be in prayer, fasting prayer. Yes, okay, beautiful. Okay, you don't need to wear sackcloth, but that tells me so many things about myself. Be humble and do the right thing. And I'm happy to humble myself. I'm ready to humble myself. And then be in prayer. After 36 hours and almost 49 hours with no breaks, a prayer marathon, you know what just brought so many results in my life? Because you need to follow the instruction. Wait for that. And if you don't know anything, read the word, open the word. And then then apply that or act on it. There is an instruction you need to follow. And then, as I said, I started this sermon with, if you're not in his presence, how can you even hear him, what he's saying? And on this prophet, literally his hand was upon him. Wow, what a mighty thing it is. See, that's what it is. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath come into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, or an exceedingly great army. Do you see what God did? From dryness to order, to structure, to life, and to strength. I prophesied as he commanded. There is an instruction. Breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet. Life came, and then you need strength as well to walk. Just life is also not enough. If that's the case, we are all living, right? We are not dead. But are we walking right? Are you walking right? Am I walking right? We need the strength as well. We need to stand. From dryness, okay, beautiful. There is an order also there. And then there is a structure as well. And there is life as well. And now what? You need the strength. Yeah? You know what? Whoa. These dry bones became an army. When your scattered problems and scattered life come to the real structure, carrying the life would bring strength, and you yourself are your army. You will be in a place where, when the army comes into picture, you are a warrior. Did you hear the word prayer warriors? I always respect so much the person who prays the most. You need to pray. That's where you gain your strength. That's where you need to start your journey. So be careful how you work away from what looks dry, because what looks dry may still carry great potential. Did you give up on something? Because are you tired of taking so many medications? Did you try so much? Are you tired of telling someone the same story, same thing, and they never heard and never find them just hearing anything or acting on it? Did you give up on your child? And the very, very important thing, did you give up on your dreams? Did you give up on the hopes that you carry? You might have written in the book as well. You might have told someone, and you might have shared that with a person who can pray for you. Did you actually give up on that? This is what the Bible says. Prophesy. Prophesy to the dryness. You can leave the bones there, but the bones would stay like bones if we do not act on it. If we do not speak in order, and if you don't prophesy, if you don't believe what God could even do. Yes, what is the dry area that you gave up on? Do you think, is it worth to give up on something like that? No, because our God is able. Our God is able. He will make everything beautiful in His time. Ecclesiastes 3:10. In His time, everything is beautiful. It is not just forming. It is not just the solution. It is beautiful. Beautiful is something that you cannot miss and others cannot even miss. In this ministry, I have been actually witnessing. Thank God for that. Actually, how many miracles. The barren women are getting pregnant. People who never just thought that they would even get married. People are getting married. People are buying houses. People are actually selling the properties and buying the new ones. And God is so merciful that, when He says you don't need to sell something, but you know what? God will add something for you. Yes, that's what. Because you know what? When He says, I say it, and I will see it, because this is where your faith and my faith play a very important role. What is the dream that you gave up on? What is the dry area? This is your time. You know what? This is not a story, my friend. This is in the history. I always say that this is the authenticity of this book. Should challenge you, should challenge me to believe whatever the word says, that is the truth and that is the life. This is only the way. I do not have any hesitation to say that. Doesn't matter how messed up your situation is, how dry your life is, how hopeless the situation is. You want to know something? If you're hopeless, you're already dead. If you want to kill a person, kill that person's hopes. So he's dead. She's dead. Without hope, there is no life. There is no hope for tomorrow. Because he lives, I can face my tomorrow. Yes, of course, good. But do you have hope? When did you lose that hope? When did you stop, trusting yourself? Trust this God. Restore order. Allow God to actually rebuild structure. Cover what He's forming. You know what? This is very important. Cover what God is actually forming. Do not just, scatter it again. Do not just, want to try to lift the cover and see. No, you should not just lift that flesh and see what's happening. No, because you know what? So many medical people are there on this call actually. You know, when this wound is getting healed even, you should not just scratch it. You should not just touch it. That's the reason for all the big, major surgeries, they just cover it so that you can't even reach into that, because in that darkness, in that covering, a structure is getting formed. The beautiful flesh is getting formed, and layers are layer by layer, layer by layer, layer by layer, it's being built. So why? You want to actually scatter that? Don't you want to see that life is coming to your dry place? Don't you want to see there is a life in that structure? Why you want to scatter that? Do not do that. The power was not just in the prophecy. The power was in the obedience. This is how I want to conclude that. Obedience is better than sacrifice. You might be actually doing everything right. Coming to the sacrifice, I said 2 pillars. Pray, read the word. The third pillar is be faithful in your finances. Doesn't matter where you're going, whatever you're doing, but do not touch 10th of His portion, because everything that you carry belongs to Him. But pray about it and sow the seed. And this week God spoke to me, beautiful word about sowing. If you want to see the harvest, you need to plant a seed, right? You know what? I was got saved when I was 9 years old, actually. I've been actually decade after decade, actually, I've been just listening to this verse, very important verse. I will read that. And I don't need to give an introduction about this word, but I want to read that. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 10. Now, he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. I'm speaking about third pillar, right? The power is what? Not in prophesying. The power is in the obedience. What is the obedience in this now? Last week I preached on pray without ceasing and always meditate on His word. And the third pillar is giving, sowing. Sow the seed. He gives seed to you. He has given you that pay, that business, whatever that is there. My always argument is seed is not just money, not just cash. Your time is very important. Your talents are very important. Your skill is very important. Do not just, always discard that from your mind. I do not have money, where I'm going to do, because some of the, this is a beautiful encouragement. My nephew, who is 16 years old, actually is sending me messages. This is the word that I needed. At 12:30 in the night, you needed the word? Yes. It is going to everyone. You might be thinking these teenage boys, girls are actually watching this message. You might be thinking, I do not have any income. Yes, start with your pocket money. Take the 10th of it and start with your talents. Start with your time. Give your first portion of the day. Those first 10 minutes, an hour, whatever the time that is possible. First give it to God. That's your seed. First start sowing the seed. And this one is, now he who supplies seed to the sower, bread for food. Seed to the sower, and then what? Bread for food. So seed already turned to bread. So you don't need to worry about the bread, because He has already provided the seed. And then increase your seed. Wait, God, You said actually you have given me the seed and I want to see my harvest is being increased. But God is telling, I will increase your seed. What is it? You need to plant the seed to increase the seed. And this week, God told me so clearly, hey, do you know you're eating your seed? Is it speaking to you? This is the third pillar, eating the seed. If you eat the seed, don't look for harvest. Do not eat the seed because God is going to increase the seed. He will multiply the seed so that you will just bring back to His holy sanctuary. So just pray about it. And then, what is that? The harvest of your righteousness also will increase. So, what I'm telling you, it's not about just prophesying. Be obedient. My fourth pillar is take the communion. Trust in God's faithfulness and remember His body and blood that was just given for you and given for me. Try just following these four pillars and prophesy to your situation. So please, nothing is too dry for God to bring life into your situation. May God bless you. May God just keep you from every kind of vulnerable places that you've been struggling to come back. Your temptations, your hobbies. What is that actually? Making you going away from His presence. Don't ever think God is mad at you. God is madly in love with you. Madly in love with you. Remember one phrase I prophesied as I was commanded to do. You and I were commanded. Commander only gives instructions. So may God just bless all of you. Doesn't matter how dry your situation is.